Hello. Let's do chapter 3. Chapter 3, people. My Diaspora series. It's a story. Those who not already know what's going on, so it's not window dressing anything up now. We are in the story. In the story. Because a lot of questions have always been unanswered. I was very, very much a private person. Those who can remember, I've always said this. Either what we are doing is a revelation. I always use that word, revelations. We don't know this. Anyway, the 27th of January 2000. Can I repeat? The 27th of January 2000 was my maiden voyage to Europe, with all the excitement. But I had been flying in my earlier years as a child. Remember, I told you, my mom used to fly weekly to Kenya, Nairobi. We had a house in Kenya, Kileleshwa. Now, those who remember East African community in the 70s, there was a very big Ugandan community working in Kenya. University of Nairobi, Kenyatta University, which when it was set up. In fact, Kenyatta University was part of Makerere University. Chemutamani. Kenyatta University. That's why we have many doctors in Kenya who are Ugandans, who have lived, worked there. Those who go for regular treatment, Aga Khan Hospital will tell you this. But Abasawa was singing about Uganda. All right. I was in Kenya for 4 years. So what I'm talking about is, so at that time, my mom would come with me aboard the Fokker Friendship. There used to be these small planes, similar to Bombardier. Yeah, Bombardier, people carrier. And the last I remember was in 1979, to Komawo. No, to were leaving Uganda, going to exile. To Aduka. We fled Uganda. My family. Yes. Tuarinyana Kololo airstrip. Kololo airstrip used to drop off. It was a drop-off point. And then people would commute to where they are going. As well as Entebbe Airport. So if today the airstrip is a ceremonial ground, it's different from what I remember. Yeah, planes would land. Similar thing was in Jinja. Similar thing was in Chigazi, Kasese. I think in Mbarara had an airstrip. Then Kidepo, Lira, Bwali everywhere. Katinga these planes with Fokker Friendship, Gulandinga. Abagaga be bamutambulianga, of course. Those who had money. Like my dad, of course. So flying to Kenya 45 minutes away was nothing. So from 1979 to 2000, okay, let's say the cutoff is 1980. That is 20 years later.
No, you haven't seen it.
Your memories are scant.
So you said it over.
You get me?
You said it over
There wasn't that euphoria I had. That's why I missed the flight. I was at Entebbe Airport on that day. No, a week before, on the 20th, when I missed the flight.
Yeah.
You know the fracas that happened at the airport when Bettina had got wind that I was leaving the country. Bettina, my ex-lover as well, Shaila turns up. Bingi nnyo byali bigenda maaso, and I was with my new girlfriend. So it is a collusion course of 3. So in that chaos, I missed my flight. Okay. So a week later, I'm booked on a flight to leave on the 27th. So that begins a new chapter. It was a 6:45 flight, I remember. In the morning, I had to come at the airport at around midnight, and I remember staying over, not sleeping over, because, you know, I had company. We had to. So, kakati mu Crested Crane restaurant, the manager of that restaurant, Mr. Bakumpe, if you go and check, those who are working at the airport, in 2000, who was the manager of that restaurant? It was part of Uganda Hotels. Hey, temumanyi bintu bino. You people, let me tell you this. Yes, a restaurant Jamala Airport, yali part of the Uganda Hotels. Which is government. So the manager, Mr. Bakumpe, a relation to Bettina. I think uncle or something. Yes, he used to stay in Entebbe. Ngabaina staff quarters zawe. Part of the Lake Victoria Hotel. Part of the. It being organized differently back then. I remember. Are we good? Elsa, I see you inside. Eh? All right, you're looking good. Keep it up. I'm coming in, yeah. Okay. So my maiden voyage with Tulidero, maiden voyage. Kegus, how do you live? What was your experience? Did you fear the plane? Were you panicky or what? No. I was excited because I was finally getting this out of the way, because I had promised my girlfriend at the time that I'm taking her to London for shopping. I've always maintained there was no reason for me. The world was reason. Maybe the YMCA shenanigan was just the invitation. Yeah, back then you had to have an invitation. Either coming for a conference, coming on holiday, then you know, whatever, things like that. Just a letter, that's all. And my bank statement to prove that I can, of course, there wasn't anything tough for me. But the process was a bit hectic. You had to come early in the morning, queue up. I stayed in the hotel, Nasulam Hotel. I couldn't queue up that long line at the embassy, Parliamentary Avenue. People, you remember that long queue that used to snake all the way down to UCB, Uganda Commercial Bank. There used to be a long queue, people waiting for visas. I've got the pictures of people waiting. And people coming out excited, people coming out jumping, hey, but give me a visa, that's cussing out and all that. And that is it. Now, 6 o'clock, they open the desks at the departures, immigration, whatever, check-in desk. Those who are flying now know what I'm talking about. So, suitcase, you go in. But already I was in the airport. You get me? I was already at the airport for that long shot. And then it was a quick exit. We went straight down. The old building, you go down. And I remember walking along the tarmac to board the small plane. It was a KQ flight connecting at Jomo Kenyatta Airport. For the long haul. The long haul was, I think it was a 777. I think it was a 777. It was huge. Yeah, it was a 3-row. No, 2-row. No, 3-row. one on the window aisle, center, and the other side. Yeah, it was a three row, yeah. Very huge. And that begins the story of the romance with the flight hostess. Kati, kati, very early in the morning, very misty, along the shores of Lake Victoria. That early morning mist, the breeze rising up from the lake and all that. So very eerily cold. It's a very, very cold morning. Yeah. With passengers, tighten your seat belts, blah, blah, blah. This flight is departing, blah, 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 blah. That, ash. We are moved to the runway. You're seeing everything in the window. Yeah, I made sure I see everything. I think it was my experience as a child. So many memories of flying when I was a child. Yeah, but they're a bit scanty. You can't really remember things when you're in those 6, 7, 8. You can, but yeah. But the one I remember vividly was 1979 when we left. But we would return during the military commission. Uncle Paul Muanga, the chairman. Omanyari Uncle Wange. Yari neighbor. He was our neighbor in Upper Manda Road. That is how close my dad was to the power. Yeah, I like him. But my dad, I don't know. We value government, the movers and the shakers behind. But my dad was more laid back. Minister, very many friends of his were ministers. Yes, Bajange for our car, Benz in his parking now. You see, you whatever, by justice. When I was Chalachanda Fumbi. Very interesting. That is in the 80s. That's in the 80s. Even my mom, when she joined the corporate world, Uganda Development Corporation, aonga all the executives have a coffee marketing board ne meeting njijjukira Obote yanyiza abantu bangi nnyo. I mean, the president Milton Obote pissed off many people. We are gaba coffee marketing board najua oito joke. Yes, I have that story. Injirina na abakirimu mugamba nti Museveni yakuba sujui helicopter yato no awo wafu coffee marketing board was run independently. It was a parastatal coffee. Kati tuva mu mwanye ya kase mu 70s mafuta mingi kati abazadde our parents abasinga bonna the billionaire elites bagagawalya ku mwanye eyo ya kase. There was the coffee boom in the 70s. Yes, because of what happened to the Brazilian coffee. Frost and all that, then frost blight and all that. Byali biwanvu nnyo. Coffee moves the world. Coffee. So Ugandan coffee was sought after in Mwanyinerinya to the point that even we cleared our national debt. We didn't have a debt. Uganda was able to pay off its foreign debt and even come to the aid of other countries in the Middle East. How did it happen? Uganda was so rich. Nenga sete zitambulya mu mwanyi. And speculatively, like my dad, having set up Zinalaba General Merchandise. Yali mu mwanyi. He had seen where the money was coming from. He was in agriculture. That's why he was able to leave the job in Mango Growers Cooperative Union. That you could go private and go big. munfuna bulungi nnyo bino ebintu temubimanyi. So when we come back to 1982, I've digressed, but let's talk about this. Obote yali abbi akalulu. Yes, Uncle Paul Muwanga ng'atudde n'Obote bali wansi Nakasero, baali batudde baali mu shat, baali mu Nile Mansions. Kubanga Obote gyabeera ya Nile Mansions, waliwo room waggulu. Correct. Bali ku whisky banywa, zonna order zaavanga awo. Yalinga control center ya elections ezo. Museveni bino ebintu abimanyi. Abimanyi. Ye yayitanywa mwenge, baali batamidde. Kati akalune kayitamu gasemoogerera akawangudde ne bagaana electoral commission okusoma results. Bano ne bamala okweteesa n'agamba nti no, we shall announce. Kiraba? That is the shenanigans of 1980. 1980 mutemwaliyo bwe twali baana bato naye nga tuli around these people, nzinabwera nga buli wamu ne taata wange nga ndaba mumanyi ne helicopter eya Oito Joke, mumanyi nti zaali bbiri, 2 helicopters nga zifaanagana. Nakasongola, the one which smashed up Mweyafiira, there were two helicopters nga zigwa mugundi. Kati we mwitawo Serena nga mwezirandi nga neziparking awo Oito Joke. So ebyaliwo byaliwo, naye nze to date I would have a different story. Kyali ku mwanyi. Kati Obote rewards Oito Joke. Remember, Amaje at that time gegalina power. The army. Neno olutalo lwali lwatandika dda mu 70s. Bino ebintu Kasirye Gwanga yabyogerako n'abyogera nagaa nti ne Museveni naye abyogera. The guerrilla war was just the finale. Those 5 years in Luwero.
You know the F series, you know the F-22?
But change was just about.
Yeah, the 4 series. Yeah, Grand Coupe.
Anyway, today I'm 19.
Well, it stopped at 300.
Oh, good. Let's go back to 2000. Where the story is.
420.
So the plane taxis in position.
I know, bro.
It's wheeled out of where it parks to begin the run to take off. That's when you see a very different view of Entebbe from sky above, because I think the plane runs about 2 miles or 3 miles. I'm not sure of the distance. Then it took off in the sky. I felt a bit sick. But the air hostess had talked to me. Very sweet girl, Kenyan. Because they make the announcements and everything. Come on, so I said, I remember she asked me if I wanted to take a tablet for sickness. Yeah, I remember very well. I said, I'm fine. But she gave me a bag. She gave me a bag. Yeah, I was with my girlfriend as well. But she's not in the conversation now. We're talking about me. Kegus. Maiden flight. So, that experience really would shape my direction. I knew everything going forward was going to be determining a lot of things thereafter. You get it? If you haven't planned for something and it comes just like it came about. So the flight takes off. Of course, it goes the eastern part of Uganda. Yeah, so I'm flying to the eastern part of Uganda, and then I'm crossing into Kenya. Kati Kenya, I had left Kenya the last time on a Kamba bus. I had been going back and forth Kenya whenever I wanted. That's another story. But now flying back and landing at Embakasi, Jomo Kenyatta. I had done a field trip at Jomo Kenyatta during my studies. Yeah, we went there. We went there at the airport. It was a field trip, part of my studies. Yeah. Customs clearing and forwarding. Yeah. So we land. It was a 10 minutes connecting. That's how fast, because the other flight was already waiting. It was already filled up with passengers. So they were waiting on our flight. This was the morning flight to London. Leaving London, I think about 8 o'clock. Yeah, there used to be a morning flight. There used to be a morning flight. Yeah. So when we landed, we disembarked straight through the chute, straight to the other plane. And it took off. And it took off straight away. We were sky high in 10 minutes. Because as soon as we all sat, they closed the chutes, they sealed the doors, and the plane took off. It was a day flight, all the way up the Nile, the River Nile, via Sudan, Egypt. You can see literally, if you are up there, you can make up, if you've done your geography. Now I knew my geography very well. So you could see the River Nile right from above, many miles above. Then we crossed the Sahara Desert, and then the plane went north. As we went further, you could see the clouds gathering more as we came towards Europe, because now Europe was winter. But in Africa, you could make up the Sahara Desert, very brown, and you could see small bits of hills and all those kind of things. But of course, that's the landmarks. And then, as we got further and further up Europe, because the plane goes all the way, like it's going to the Scandinavia, then it turns. It turns to Amsterdam. Chapeau. No, Copenhagen, is it Amsterdam? Yeah. And then we were there for 45 minutes. Then we stayed in the plane. I remember the plane from Amsterdam to London. We were about 6 people inside. It was literally empty. Yeah, it was empty. I remember. And then when we got to London, there was a very big snowfall. They called it a snowstorm. There was snow everywhere, and I think the airports were closed temporarily. They were cleaning, there were machines removing the snow. My flight had to land, but couldn't land. And I think it couldn't go back to Copenhagen, whatever, Amsterdam. So we were kept circling around London for almost 2 hours. That experience, I don't know anybody has ever experienced it. I saw London from above. From above. And it was very, very thrilling. And I think we landed around 9 o'clock local time. We were supposed to land around 6:45. Yeah. But of course the delays are factored in. Plus, of course, the 2 hours we spent in the sky, circling around. So that is the experience. But of course, we haven't even talked about the air hostess. That's another story. Romance on Flight KQ102. There's a romance story with the air hostess. Very sweet. Very sweet. Ffe tutambudde mu nnyonyi ne tuzinyumirwa. Tebapa blanketi. Ng'ate nina omukazi atudde wali mabega. She was tired. Kuja uke nyuma. Nikuwa naongea Kiswahili, si ndio? Sema nini bla bla bla. Kali kana katonyo, kali nga 22, 23. Bien bagamba, you know what I mean? So, you story Jajibawa. I'll give you that story of the romance with the air hostess. Yeah. So as the diaspora story series continues, tugenda kuchongerayo. Hello, Patience.
Good evening.
What have you done to your hair?
How are you?
You wanna cut it off? What did you put in here? Okay, it's nice. It's nice hair.
Thank you.
Yeah, fashion, style. Okay, akati muli happy. Yeah, boss. Together jinyumya. Tujimaleyo. We have a whole year. Ngena kubaira ku mboze eno yokaya diaspora bagulire buli kimu mutegeere muyige. Kati madde mukimanyi nti natandika okulinya ennyonyi nga ndi mwana muto. You didn't know. Ennyonyi tewali kipya. Mama wange nga mukusoma yawasa mugagga nga buli wiiki alina okulinya ennyonyi agenti yalinya ku baasi agirinya nange. Baasi agirinya nange nga antwala Kenya. When she was taking me to Kenya in 94, September the 13th, it was the date. I returned to Kenya on a bus. Can you imagine? But it was fun. I don't run away from things. So, but my dad was very rich. Yali mugaga, and he loved my mom. He would do anything for her. Anything for her. Yo. Mukazi wange alina okulinya ennyonyi. Mukazi wange alina okuvuga Benz. Yeah, that was my dad's mentality. Tabani wange omusika. Tugenda mu swimming e Kololo, tugenda what we did. You never saw my dad. You did not. He was young. He only 40 when he took ill. 40. He was a very simple man. But because he had a very difficult childhood as well, that played on him. It played on my dad so much. His childhood. He wasn't loved when he was young. He wasn't. Wanted and unwanted. Because where the women tell me what you mean by this. It wasn't a planned pregnancy. But of course, my grandmother was young. She was only 14. So in the middle of all that, he grows up to be very, very intelligent. Very, very intelligent. Yeah. He wasn't no nonsense academically. Yeah. And that gave him a foundation in life. Wanting to settle down. Because my dad getting married at 24 was very, very young. 24. And I think 24 was very young. Married. Wedding of the year. Not these small things, whatever to joke about. The kind of friends he had. You know, everybody knew my dad. Personally. Nga bajja waka, they come home. Ba bishop wabo naba. Sibanyumiza nga ba bishop Nsubuga, bishop Kitio. Waya wanga ne kusete doza. Yabange basa. ate bajja wa mwavu bajja ne bakusabira emikisa bagenda bamusemeri ne bamusabira. Let them come to your house. Emisa y'okwebaza. Misairi Kauma ye yateekako emikono mu 1987. Kati bayita batya omugigi confirmation. Bishop Misairi Kauma ng'ajja naye wafeeka. So byebyo naye yali muto. Ebyo bikola abantu bali mu 60s and 70s. So you must have a very big power base, money. So we're going to continue the story. Mbawaddemu ka snapshot yawo. My experience flying. Not for the first time. Of course, it wasn't the first time. It wasn't the first time I was flying people. I had been flying when I was still young. Flying with my mom every week. My mom was studying at the East African Civil Service College in Kenya, staying at Kileleshwa, very affluent neighborhood in Nairobi. That's what I'm talking about. Are we good? We good? Okay, guys, I catch you. I will catch you again. Have a nice time.